If you have followed any of the postings I've made or videos on my channel recent-ishly, this is the project car. This is the 3000 GT. It's running, it moves, it has all its gears. I've done some test drives in it. So now we can move on to other things like air conditioning, which is kind of a must here in Florida, particularly in the summer. So I know that this system is entirely empty because I had to take the system apart in order to get the engine out, put the engine in, right? But what I don't know is, does the compressor work? Do we have leaks? I don't know. So that's what we got to find out. One quick thing to note is I do already know that this is an R134A system from the factory. They had started doing that in 1994, actually. 93 was an R12, but this is R134A. So very easy to get refrigerant for it. Not a big deal. We're not doing any conversions, so sit back and relax. Now I have this big fancy shop AC machine, and I even refurbished it, but I didn't do it right, and I haven't gotten around to fixing that yet, so we're going to do this the old way. Now we are actually going to be a little bit fancy, and we are going to replace the filter, dryer, accumulator, desiccant, whatever you want to call it. It's this guy right here. We got to take the AC lines off of it, and then there is, looks like we've got 2 bolts that hold it in down there. And then we can lift it out, put a new one in. So that's what we're doing first. I have the part on hand. It's made by Four Seasons and it's a 33594. It's important to change this out if your system has been open or broken for a really long time, because it's supposed to suck up moisture to keep water out of your AC lines, which is really important for your AC, not to have water in it. But it's a desiccant, which means it wears out eventually. So if your line's been open for years and years and years, it's probably shot and you need to replace it. Taking a closer look, the right way to go after this is there is right there. There's a bolt that holds this clamp tight, so loosen that bolt. Fortunately, it doesn't want to show up, but there it is. Loosen that bolt, we should be able to slide the accumulator out. To give yourself room to get these, I think these are both high pressure lines, out of the way, take that loose, take this loose, this gets floaty, and when that gets floaty, it means this can get floaty, and we can pull this out of here. As we are prepping our new dryer, one thing to note, this one was kind enough to give you an in and an out. But really, the best way to know what's up is just note the direction where the screws have to be and the actual AC port's got to be. That'll let you know. I don't have a metric socket, I think, big enough for this guy, so we're having to go SAE. This is a 1 1/16 inch to get on there, so we can transfer this. This is your high pressure cutoff switch, so you do need it. So before we put everything back together, helpfully came with 2 fresh O-rings, so I'm going to go ahead and swap those. Some people put PAG oil, which is the mineral oil that you use in an AC system. They'll coat the rings in PAG oil, some don't. Leave that one up to you. I'm just going to throw these on there and see what happens. Alright, so one thing I noted as I put all this back together is these bolt mounts will pivot around the actual AC tube, so you'll be able to get them started, but to do their final torquing and tightening, you're going to need to retighten the clamp bolt that's down over here. Once you do all that, don't forget to plug your high pressure cutoff switch back in, and you've got it. So that needs to stay left alone. And then this is a sight glass, which is kind of interesting. I'm wondering if we'll actually be able to see refrigerant moving through this, or if this was so that you could see moisture inside of the accumulator, and that way you would know, okay, you know, it's time to put a new one in. But that's how we do that. So now we can move on to getting all the moisture out of the system, which is called vacuuming it down. Okay, for the next bit, we're going to need one of these. This is called a vacuum pump. You can get them at most any automotive hardware place or Harbor Freight, Princess Auto, whatever. We need that. We're also going to need a set of manifold gauges for AC, like this. Again, this is Harbor Freight. I actually need to replace this. It's getting kind of tired. But we need both of these so we can figure out what we got to do here as far as detecting leaks, pressurizing, filling, blah, 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 blah. So, with the blah-dee-dee-blah-blahs out of the way, I need to connect this to the vacuum pump because I was fixing my wife's AC yesterday, 2010 Ford Fusion, and we're going to vacuum this system down, see if it leaks. All right, you've never done something like this before. Generally, you do all of your dirty business off the low pressure side, which is all the stuff that's in blue, versus the high pressure side, which does have some use, but you don't use it as much. So first things first, we have to find the low pressure port of the AC system on the car. Now, on our car here, all of our AC ports are on this side of the vehicle. This is our low pressure port, helpfully marked with an L. Generally that cap is black, green, or blue. And then this is our high pressure port, which is generally marked with an H or a red cap. So take this off, and this is where we need to connect our low pressure coupler, which is this guy over here. Take him off, bring him over here. Now it's a quick connect, so you lift up on the collar, push it down, you hear it click, give it some pulls, make sure you're good, then open the valve. And normally you would not want to do this until you're sure that you've got everything else connected, because if there's any pressure, as soon as you open this valve, it's going to rush through the system and it would start to evacuate through your vacuum pump. Now, if you've never used a vacuum pump, they're pretty dirt simple to use. Hook something up to your vacuum line. You're going to have, it needs to use mineral oil or vacuum oil. Check your level, check the oil. If it looks like mud, you probably need to change it. This is basically brand new. Then you're going to want to open this cap a little bit. See, it's closed. You open it up a little bit. And what that does is, as it's vacuuming, it's going to allow any moisture that is inside the system. It basically boils off because of the relationship between water and pressure. That's what it comes down to. And you'll see white mist coming out of here. But we got everything we need, so let's see what we do. See that? See all that white mist coming out? That's moisture it's pulling out of the system. And then over here, we look on our gauge and you see the part that's in red? That's inches of mercury, which is how you measure vacuum. And what we want to see, if my tired, leaky gauges are going to do it, is we want to see it pull 30 inches of mercury and hold that. And as you can see, we're not even getting there. So we probably have a leak if we can't even get to 30 inches with the pump running. Question is where? All right, first major leak has been located. Check this out. Close this off. And then pop the coupler. Remember, the system's under vacuum right now, right? So that valve core is shot. We need to replace it. So I've got fancy tools to do valve core replacements, but if nothing's under pressure, you don't need fancy tools. You just need something like this. So you're going to stick it in there, pick the size that works the best for what you're working on. Like that feels pretty good. You're going to twist. And if you're lucky, the valve core is going to get caught in your tool. It'll come right out. Sometimes they don't want to and they fight you, but there it is. So this valve core is bad. Doesn't look bad, but we heard it leaking, so we know we got at least one bad O-ring. So let's see if I have. All right, that's the old. The new is in. It's threaded, so all you do is you shove the new one in your tool, put it in, and then you screw it till it's tight. That's it. Let's hook her back up, see what we get. So notice, no leak. So fresh valve core fixed that. Let's check this one out and see if it's leaking. It is. So our high pressure valve core is also bad. Let's fix that. Though I've done the gasketry, we still have no way of knowing if our condenser core is good, or our evaporator core is good, or our expansion valve is good. I don't know. I should have flushed this before I did all this, but at this point I'd have to rip stuff apart, and I really don't feel like ripping stuff apart. You should go check out the videos. They're long, they're kind of boring, but in the sense of you wanted to see how much work it takes to bring one of these cars back correctly and get everything working. Check it out. But I've had this thing apart for 3 very long, arduous months, and yeah, I want to get something nice going for me. So now that we're not profusely losing our vacuum through our valve cores, and gauge actually bears it out, because now we are dead on 30 inches, which before we couldn't get there because of our leaks. But now we're good, so we're getting close. What you normally do is you let it vacuum for 10-15 minutes at least to get all the moisture out, right? And then we're going to close this valve so it can't talk to our vacuum pump anymore. Turn the pump off, and we're just going to let it sit. And we want to see if we can hold 30 inches of vacuum for an hour or so, and we'll go from there. All right, it's been 15-20 minutes. Let's close up this valve. We'll turn this off, and now we wait an hour. See you in an hour. Welcome back, everyone. It has been an hour, and take a look. We are still flicking the gauge to make sure the needle's not stuck. We are still dead on 30 inches of mercury, so we are not leaking. At least up to 30 inches of mercury. So what do I mean by only up to 30 inches of mercury? What I mean is that your AC system runs at a higher level of force. I won't say pressure, I don't want to split hairs, but it runs at a higher level of force than the amount of vacuum you generate on your normal vacuum gauge. So, long story short, just because you're not leaking in a vacuum test does not mean that you won't leak once you put refrigerant in there, particularly on the high side, because you can have pressures approaching 300 psi on the high side. So just something to keep in mind. In any case, we are ready for fill. All right, it's a new day. We got what we need. Ignore the squeaky belt. So for us to do this, we want to set this to maximum blower, maximum AC, maximum cool. So that's this, that, and I think how this works is 1 push is regular, 2 pushes is max AC. So we're going to do all of that jazz, and then we're going to go see if the compressor will fill. So once you get your tap on and everything and you've got it open, hold it up in the air and kind of do a 9 to 3 shape. You'll know you're doing the right thing. The can's going to get cold in your hand. And you should see this between 20 to 50 psi depending on how full the system is and what time of day it is, how hot it is outside. So I think the compressor did turn on because this can's empty. I saw it going through the shot glass there. According to our labeling, if we get over here, it says we need 28 ounces of refrigerant. So if we're working with 12-ounce cans, which this is the cheapest way to do this, we're going to need 2 cans, probably about 2.5 cans, because you never can fully drain a can when you use this type of setup. One other thing I should talk about is if you did a new setup and you're not sure about what's up, you need to add PAG oil to the system, which I did. I put it into the condenser here. So you got to do that first because the system requires a certain amount of PAG oil, otherwise it'll burn up. But I checked the vent. We have air conditioning, so let's finish filling it up, see what it does. It's getting downright pleasant in here now that we have working air conditioning. Oh, check this out. I figured out which of my belts is loose. Turn the headlights on. Oh, it's not doing it. But basically I could turn the lights on and the alternator would go under load and it'd squeal. So that belt's slightly loose. I need to fix that. But let's see how we're doing out of the vents here. Now come on, I know we're doing better than that. I can feel the difference. Alright, I did some quick reading and it turns out this little light's burnt out, but this is off. This is eco mode, which I think is considered normal AC for most everybody else. This is full AC, which I think everybody else calls max AC. So anyway, that's how that works as per the owner's manual. And of course we have recirculate and then, blow through. So it all works. This isn't as cold as I'd like. It's good on refrigerant, but my guess would be that the evaporator core, which is the thing that your blower is going to be next to, is probably clogged. I bet you this blows very cold when I'm going down the road at 60. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this one. We walked through how to evac an AC system, how to change out a desiccant, how to vacuum it down, what it means, how to fill, and what that means. We'll see how long this holds. Like I said, just because you clear a vacuum test does not mean that you're going to pass a leak test. So we'll see what happens. I want to figure out if I need to unclog the AC drain, and I'd like to clean out the evaporator eventually at some point. But other than that, it is working. We have AC from a system that's 32 years old. In any case, if you found this video interesting, if you found it entertaining, if you learned something, please consider like, share, subscribing. I'm a small channel. I don't make a lot of money. So, if you could let folks know, I'd appreciate it. Might get me a couple more coins so I can bring you more stuff like this. Until next time, guys.